We'd like to start off with a little history about the market. The Moscow Farmers Market essentially began as a Moscow food co-op back in 1976. Obviously, the market started off very small with only a few farmers and was located behind the current City Hall building. Dorothy McEachern, a co-op volunteer, was basically the initial organizer of the farmers market. A few years later, after the market was formed, the farmers market essentially took a shift of management onto the Moscow Arts Commission in 1978. Entertainment in general seemed to be popular throughout the day at the market, and live entertainment has been around the market since the beginning of 1978 as well. Though, the most important thing that occurred in that year was the formation of the Farmers Market Advisory Board, who establishes policies, procedures, and practices that can take place throughout the time the farmers market is open. In 1980, Friendship Square, which is located on 4th Ave and Main Street, was developed, and this would be the area where the farmers market will now be held at, and not behind the City Hall. This location is obviously not the area for where the farmers market is being held present day, since the market has expanded so much. The market just moved specifically to Main Street since the vendor space went from 42 to 99 spaces. Leading up into the 2000s, in 2004, the city of Moscow essentially hired a part-time market manager to assist the Arts Commission and Arts Department to run the annual event. Ever since the city took action into hiring assistants to run the farmers market, many people had started to contribute towards the maintenance and organization of the entire event. Leading up into 2008, a real draft of the farmers market policies was written up. Market policies has always been a key topic of discussion throughout the entire organization. These policies just simply included the market location, schedule, and also the food labeling requirements and guidelines that each vendor had to follow. Since the farmers market just keeps growing and expanding with vendors and customers every year, the policies will just keep getting updated annually in order to meet the specific values of the market. Leading up into the year of 2000, a Farmers Market Promotion Program grant, also known as FMPP, was established in order to provide vendor training, market cooking classes, and other essential activities that were useful to the market. This grant provided many opportunities to arise for the market in general. Most importantly, the grant helped purchase important equipment that were necessary, such as tables, chairs, and tents. Also in 2010, the Idaho Farmers Market Association was established in order to educate all farmers markets in Idaho about healthy food access. The farmers market has yet to open up for the year of 2018, but the market celebrated their 40-year anniversary in 2017. Next is about the market's infrastructure.
The Moscow Farmers Market's mission is to encourage and support sustainable economic, social, and environmental practices. The basic infrastructure of the farmers market is as follows. First off, the market is laid out on Main Street in downtown Moscow, Idaho. It runs the length of 2 city blocks from 3rd to 6th Street and is lined with various vendors along either side of the road. This allows a massive walkway between vendors for visitors and shoppers. Vendors include fresh produce and animal meat products, as well as various food venues and artistic booths with countless trinkets. The entirety of the Moscow Farmers Market runs from early May to mid to late October, every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Due to the rapid growth in visitors, the lack of parking and restrooms for the public to use puts a strain on the infrastructure. As for the infrastructure behind becoming a vendor goes, each agriculture-related vendor, which would be fresh produce and or meat products, and non-agriculture related vendors must complete a registration packet. More specifically, agricultural related vendors must complete an interview with the market manager after emailing the farmers market board. From there, the interviewer provides a registration packet for the newcomer to fill out, as well as instructions on how to register online. For non-agriculture related vendors, they must go to at least one jury meeting with members of the community who evaluate the vendor and decide if they believe they would be beneficial to add to the farmers market group. If approved by the jury, the vendor is provided the registration packet and informed on how to register online, like for agriculture-related vendors. Both types of vendors have an annual registration fee ranging from $15 to $125, depending on the number of days they plan to be at the venue, and have several fees such as parking and booth space ranges, which range from $5 to $30. In regards to production, vendors must be growers and or producers of the product they are selling. In addition to that requirement, the product must be conducted no more than 200 airway miles away from Moscow. For non-agriculture vendors, they are to use local items as well, but have a wider variety of things they can do. Furthermore, all producers and sellers are required to have selling permits, FDA food safety permits, alcohol selling permits if they have alcohol, certified organic certificates if they advertise their produce as organic, and some sort of established farm name.
And now onto the overall culture of the farmers market and around the Palouse.
Within the Palouse area, there is a lot to be explored with the social and cultural dynamics of food around us. On the Palouse, we are gifted with the major amount of culture in our food. We have vast options of locally grown produce, locally produced dairy products, baked goods, and breweries. There's a very special aspect to not only the farmers market, but to the Palouse area itself. The Palouse is a major agriculture area with primary production of wheat and legumes. The Palouse exports these goods all across the United States. The Palouse is responsible for 97% of lentils in the United States, as well as producing on average 38,102 metric tons a year. Specifically, the Moscow Farmers Market itself is a very cultural experience because it is a place where all aspects of our food culture can be brought together and celebrated. It is all brought together in one place and displayed with pride. There are two primary dairy producers, one being Brush Creek Creamery and the other known as Washington State University's Ferdinand's. Next, there are local farms that provide fresh and locally grown produce. Featured at the Moscow Farmers Market is Orchard Farms, Palouse Prairie Farms, and Brush Creek Farms. With the plethora of wheat that is on the Palouse, many bakeries take advantage of the local production and provide sweet pastries and breads. Both Pastries of the Nile and Sister Cookie Company are the two major providers that are featured in the Moscow Farmers Market. This farmers market is a prime example of the cultural dynamics here on the Palouse, with all aspects being displayed with great pride and crowds that come to see it every week. Moscow's farmers market is never a disappointment.
And finally, the local food movement that goes into the farmers market.
The farmers market provides everything you need to live a healthy diet while still buying local. Calhoun Family Fruit is based out of Wapato, Washington. It is a three-generation farming family, and they have lived and worked on the land since 1971. They grow many types of tree fruits, including cherries, peaches, plums, and many more. They are known for tree-ripened fruit, which yields the best flavors possible. All 7 of their children help on the farm during the summer, and their oldest son is now taking over much of the farm. Affinity Farm is located in Moscow, Idaho. It was founded in 2001 with the main goal of growing and selling the highest quality, nutrient-dense vegetables. They also strive to produce healthy food for themselves and their customers with as little environmental impact as possible. They farm using only organic methods and try to consider the consequences of all of their actions. The farm consists of vegetables such as tomatoes, cucumbers, spinach, lettuce, onions, garlic, and much more. The soil they use to grow these crops is maintained through cover cropping, which is the application of composted manure, nutrients, and minerals in response to tests done to the soil. Big Canyon Beef, located in Craigmont, Idaho, raises their high-quality cattle on the breaks of the Clearwater River. All calves raised by Big Canyon Beef are all natural and do not have any added hormones or antibiotics. If a calf does get sick and requires antibiotics, the calf is then shipped to a different location and sold on a separate market. The calves start by being born close to the river and then travel to higher elevations in the summer months. This is to help ease the stress that the warmer weather can put on the calves. In the winter months, the cows and calves graze on grass and alfalfa. and in the spring they will be moved to the steep rocky grass-filled canyons.
If you have a chance to go check out the farmers market, go ahead and do it and support your local community. And thank you for watching.